More Qantas job cuts. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian Heiser here and welcome to another episode of Heiser Says. Let's have a look at this article from news.com.au which is discussing, well, potentially more job cuts from Qantas. So, more jobs could be slashed at Qantas on top of the thousands already announced, with Chief Executive Alan Joyce warning more difficult decisions are yet to come. And this is written by Rebecca Lee May. Now, I can't say I'm too surprised. I can't imagine anyone is too surprised. Did you all hear about the Qantas flight to nowhere? Just to find innovative ways to generate money. I mean, cool, it's a novelty, but it's still a flight to nowhere, guys. Qantas appears to be hinting there will be more job cuts at the airline on top of the thousands already announced, flagging more difficult decisions to come in the 2019-2020 annual report. In June, when the airline announced its post-COVID recovery plan, Chief Executive Alan Joyce announced 6,000 jobs cuts, noting many of those to be culled had worked with the company for decades. Around 2,500 more Qantas and Jetstar jobs are at risk, under plans revealed last month to outsource ground handling operations at Australian airports where the work is done in-house, as well as bus services for customers and employees in and around Sydney Airport. The impact of this crisis means the Qantas Group will be smaller for some time to come, Mr. Joyce wrote. The markets we operate in will be different, and we'll need to rebuild our balance sheet. I wonder if it'll ever get back to where it was. I mean, in some ways it's quite sad, particularly for the people that have been there for decades. For decades with one organization. Think of the culture shock they would have suddenly being out of work. Or suddenly having to go somewhere else to work. That's not going to be easy, guys. For not the first time in our history, we need to reinvent how we do things, which will result in more difficult decisions to ultimately protect the company's future. The Transport Workers Union says it is sickening. The report showed Qantas management still paid themselves handsomely, while so many of its workers faced the chop. I mean, optically it's terrible. The optics are terrible for that. Surely, but then again, you'll never make the Transport Workers Union happy. No matter what you pay yourself at an executive level, it'll never make them happy. You know, they could have said, oh, do you think that a Transport Workers Union would ever say, oh, we're happy that the directors took a 20% cut? And frankly, it wouldn't be enough to make a difference to the jobs. If they don't need them, they need to cut them. That's how businesses work. Businesses aren't charity. I mean, unions should know that. They're run like a business, aren't they? Qantas and key executives were paid zero for the first 3 months from April 1 to June 30. So there you go. They took what, a 25% pay cut. Mr. Joyce continued to take no base pay in July, is foregoing 35% of his base pay until the end of October, and has deferred his decision around his rights under the company's long-term incentive plans until at least August 2021. So here we have the union complaining that, it's sickening. And most people will just latch onto that. They won't look at these other few points right here. They all took 3 months without pay. How many workers took 3 months without pay? And Joyce has taken a cut. I mean, he may be paid a lot more, and it may be questionable if people in this C-level position are actually worth what they're getting paid. But that's the market, guys. That's the market. That's just how it is, sadly. But the union says that's not enough. See, I told you. And has called for executive salaries to be capped and bonuses cancelled permanently. I mean, it's just... stuff like this just flies in the face of the market. I mean, honestly, I agree. They're probably paid too much. They're probably not worth it, but that's what they have to pay to attract the talent. And that's what they have to pay. And they get the bonuses, they get the bonuses. I mean, this is the thing, guys. Do you want regulation on business to this degree? Do we just want to go down the regulated economy where there's already so much intervention of the state in running of businesses? There really is. Our socialism is sliding towards a more authoritarian style that quite concerns me, and I'm sure I'm not alone there. I think a lot of people would be shocked to see what would happen. It shows just how arrogant and out of touch this management is when they believe that stalling their $1 million salaries and share options for a few months will make it look like they're sharing the burden, National Secretary Michael Caine said. Well, I wonder, has the Transport Workers Union given membership dues back to members? Have they, provided free membership to them? I hope they have. I'm sure they have. Let me know if they have, guys, if you're in there. They literally have no idea what life is like for their workers who are terrified about their futures as the axe swings over their head. Oh, I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do, and I'm sure it's gut-wrenching for them. I mean, people in business, when you're hiring other people, it's not a fun thing firing someone. It isn't. And I know some people they get this caricature of the evil boss. And even in these large organizations, I think the evil people aren't at the top. The evil people are the ones in the middle. They're the HR people. They're the people that don't actually do anything of product and add no productive value to it, and just into a middle job. They're the real evil ones you got to worry about. The TWU has taken legal action over the outsourcing, with the Fair Work Commission hearing the case next week. So there you go. They want to run the business. They want to tell Qantas how to run the business. Is that fair? Why don't they hire all the Qantas workers that have been fired, the TWU, and set up a business to handle the outsourcing? Why don't they do that? Meanwhile, citing insiders, the West Australian reports Virgin Australia cabin crew have been asked to stomach massive pay cuts and longer hours to ensure the survival of the airline under new owners Bain Capital, which bought the company out of administration for $3.5 billion. The TWU says it will fight any course attempt to slash rates and conditions during talks for a new enterprise agreement. Well, of course they will. And they'll destroy the viability of the business. So Bain will just liquidate it. Pillage it and liquidate it. Maybe this is part of the reason why we have no economic complexity in Australia. Maybe this is part of the reason why people outsource. Even small businesses outsource because it's such a bother dealing with the bureaucracy and the red tape in this country. It really is. Maybe this is why manufacturers ship offshore. And I know there's been a surge in nationalistic purchasing tendencies, but I can't imagine that will last that much longer. I think in the end, most people are simply swayed by price. These negotiations will require a considered and cooperative approach to challenges and not the blunt hand and deaf ear of private equity boffins, Mr. Caine told NCA Newswire. Well, mate, they saved it from nothing. A race to the bottom in aviation is bad for workers and is not what the wider economy needs during the crisis. Bain will have to do better trying to apply the Qantas playbook. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. What do you all think, everyone? What do you all think? I mean, frankly, the people of Virgin should be happy to have a job. And they probably would be happy to have a job. So during times like this, during a recession that we're getting, because I'll bring up just a little diagram to show people. During the recession that we're in, because do people not realize what is happening here? That this fall in GDP, 7%, is like nothing we have ever seen in living memory. It's on par with the Great Depression. That while we did have an increase in employment and unemployment went down, a big portion of that seems to have been in the gig economy. oh well. You know, you gotta make the process difficult of trying to keep a business going. We'll have to see what happens, guys. What do you think? If you were employed for Virgin, or if you are, would you willingly sacrifice certain conditions and perks in the current market to keep a job? Would you rather have a job, or would you rather be unemployed? As always, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can. You can join the channel on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or KuCoin. You can buy merch from Heiser Says, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. I'll see you next time.